But two boys ganging up on one girl, putting a pillow on her face and laughing as they grope her against her will. So, should people be able to go back in time? Yeah.
That many men feel it's unreasonable to go back decades and raise a flag about behavior that was inappropriate. There's got to be a statute of limitations.
Pillow over the face, two boys.
All right. So
what do you consider?
I don't
What's
want
the
to be
line?
I don't want to be in a position to defend Judge Kavanaugh because I'm not a fan.
Thank you.
What I'm going to say is this, and we're going to have to edit this out, but she was not raped. They were drunk and they assaulted her, and it's terrible what happened
in
to her.
Spanish, you know the word for rape?
Violación.
Violación. She was violated. I want there to be accountability for people's actions.
Let me just finish on this thought because it's really important. And again, we may have to agree to disagree. Tom Brokaw, one of the most respected broadcasters, after he kind of semi-retired, this woman came after him. Something happened 17 to 20 years before, and she accused him of inappropriate behavior. Dustin Hoffman was accused by a fellow actor, or female, of doing something inappropriate on the set 35 years before that. And what many men feel, I'm just trying to advocate for men now, that's imbalanced. That's not appropriate. You cannot hold something we did as children or 30 or decades before and bring it up now and expect us to deal with it. There's got to be some kind of societal statute of limitations so men are not prisoners of their past.
There are consequences to behavior. Should it be that way? Yeah, because it is. There are consequences. I don't know that there should be any statute of limitations.
Men cannot be held hostage to their past. If men feel like there's no boundaries, there's no grace given to what they did 30, 20 years ago, then it's going to be hugely problematic for a whole section of our culture.
I think we do need to agree to disagree, but I think it's, I don't even know where I want to go with this, but it feels like it's not about being held hostage. I just think that there should be, if we're talking, this is our soapbox. So this is, if I had my way, there would be some responsibility that would need to be paid.
An apology.
There would need to be something. And it's not about being held hostage. But I know, depending on the line of work that you're in, if you're in the public eye in some way, something that you did could label you. I mean, that's like the one thing. You could have done 1,000 good things and you do one bad thing and that can label you for sure. But if we lived in a more elevated society, there would be room, we would be more integrated, we would have more forgiveness for those shadows. One shadow, one little skeleton bone popping out of the closet wouldn't define the whole being. It would be like, okay, let's embrace that, clean it up, own it, and do your amends, and then move on. But you can't say that it never happened, and you can't just say, oh, time passed, I'm clean, I got a get out of jail free pass. No.
We're asking men to shift the way they engage women in our society. We're asking them to do a lot of things. Yeah. And if we're not going to advocate for men as well, then they're not going to be motivated to make any shift. And my truth is this. There's a reason we have a statute of limitations in our legal system, in our jurisprudence system. If someone defrauds you or steals from you, you have a certain amount of time to respond, and if it's important, you will. But if for whatever reason you don't, you lose the opportunity to go back and collect against that person. It's a statute of limitations, and it makes sense legally, and it makes sense societally as well. So what I'm advocating for our country, and for our society, and for men and for women, is if someone wrongs you, if you're a woman and someone wrongs you, then we want to encourage you to now come forth. There's now a lot of resources and support. Come forth, and they will pay the piper. But if for whatever reason you don't want to make a big deal, you're afraid, if a certain amount of time passes, then you learn from the experience in other ways, but that person gets to get his feedback from other people. He's continuing to do that. Now, that's not a popular view, but I think most men feel it's unreasonable to go back decades. Well, this is maybe one of the most delicate moments because it's so important. If men are going to feel unshackled in the same way you can't keep certain people in slavery, if a man's going to always be looking over his shoulder about what happened 20, 30 years ago, it's going to affect his confidence, his ability to move forward with alacrity. It's going to be a destabilizing aspect of our culture. So I am advocating for there to be conversation in other parts of this country about if the statute of limitations, these kind of things, is appropriate.